I think you, Professor, you can tell the agenda. That will be better.
Yeah, today now we are going to have the first speaker is Dixon Adam from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana. He will be the first speaker, and followed by that we can have Professor Seema. We can have second one, and the third one is Professor Dr. Valentina, University of Naples.
It will join, I think.
Yeah, it's and lastly, we can have that Enrico, Department of Economics from the University of Naples. So after finishing these four speakers, we have time and all the other.
What about Ashok?
Ashok Padigal, sir.
Yeah, there are 6 speakers, right?
Yeah, he can have it. But yesterday we spoke that we finish all this.
For our members like myself, Kumar Chandran,
yourself.
We can keep away, but all the external speakers.
External speaker Ashok Padigal can have.
Yeah, you can. We have to listen from all of them.
Yeah, we can have. And yesterday Tilagarajan sir also spoke very lightly. Very short speech. Maybe he can spend some more time today.
No problem, sir. We can arrange another one, especially in Tamil for your students, so that the main point is to make the students to understand.
That is the most important thing.
Me, Kalirajan, Umar Chandran, Purushothaman, we can talk on another day on Tamil also to make the students understand and do the thing.
Now the new education policy, as per new education policy, they are preferring to teach the subjects in Tamil and regional languages. Here in Tamil Nadu also, they have started teaching mechanical engineering in Tamil in some colleges. So it's good.
Hello, Tilagarajan sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, should we wait for students to join, or we start?
Shall we start, sir? Now we can start now, sir.
Yeah, that will be better.
It's my. Shall I start, sir?
No, hold on. First, let us check with Adam. He's ready. Adam, Professor Adam, can we start? Because you will be the first speaker.
Yes, we can start. We can start. But kindly share my slides for me.
But you can't share. That means you send it to Purushot.
I'm using my mobile phone, so
no issues. Then why can't you email it to?
I'm having some challenges.
You send it to Purushot, sir.
Yeah. So is that the one emerging entrepreneurial scale-up? Is that?
Yeah, that is for Enrico.
Yeah.
Actually, he has sent me.
I think Adam sent me, but I am using also the mobile. No issues. I just forward it. Whatever he has sent me. 1 second. Adam, don't take troubles. I'll forward. I suppose Purushot, you have received.
You sent to me that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now on WhatsApp.
I also.
If you are ready, then we can start and then we can go ahead.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah. Hold on. Once it is shared, then we'll leave it to Professor Christian to make the introduction and then go.
Yeah, here you go.
Okay, so you minimize it, Purushot, for now, so that let Professor Christian do the introduction and then.
Sure. Okay, I will stop sharing for now.
Yeah. Professor, you can start.
Okay, Professor.
At YouTube also parallelly.
Good evening, good afternoon, the various speakers and participants from different colleges in Tamil Nadu and across the country. It's my privilege to welcome the speakers I'm glad to be a part of this ideation contest. Thank you for the opportunity that was given to our college. Actually, because of the examinations, we are not able to arrange so many students to join, but we are expecting some more students to join. And this few words, I hand over the session to Dr. Dixon Adam. He's a professor working in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana. Right now, he will speak on serve the world through innovative ideation, emerging technologies for the efficient management of water resources and environment. Over to you, sir. Dixon Adam, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I'm happy to have been invited to give this talk as part of our awareness campaign to help our students know what we are expecting from them as they engage in this contest. Now, the theme for my presentation is Save the World Through Innovative Ideation, Emerging Technologies for, Yeah, so when you travel to the space and you view our planet, it's really an aesthetically pleasing object in the space. When Thomas Pesquet, the French ISS astronaut, traveled into the space to view our planet, this is what he had to say. He said the planet is truly a jewel we must not take for granted. But when he was interviewed on March 30th, 2017, he said that our planet is fragile. The fragility of our planet is as a result of the myriad of problems confronting it. When you look at the next slide, please. Yes, so when you look at the problems confronting our world, they are diverse, from environment, food, energy, water, education, health, and so forth. But these problems, the cardinal ones that affect the diversities of life on our planet, is the environmental problems, food, water, and health. But InnoCulture sees the problem more in environment and water. That is why the contest draws much on the proper management or technologies for the proper management of our water and environmental resources. Aside these problems, what have made things worse, the next slide, please, is the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the COVID-19 pandemic is exacerbating these problems confronting our world. The next slide. The next slide, please. Yes, according to the World Meteorological Organization, one of the most effective, of course, in combating the COVID-19 virus is washing and sanitizing our hands. But sadly, global communities lack access to clean water, and this makes the water resources crucial in this global health crisis. The next slide. When you look at the statistics globally, it looks very gloomy. The next slide, please. Yes, so I was referring to the global statistics for water, which looks very gloomy. Kindly go back, please. The previous slide. Yes, so according to the International Telecommunication Union, they are saying that we have 1.2 billion people on our planet who don't have access to water. And this figure is going to be increased in the year 2025 to 1.8 billion. And we all know climate change will also increase the availability, the quality, and even the quantity of the water on the planet. The next slide. The next slide, please. Yes, according to the Secretary General of the World Meteorological Association, Peter Talas, he says that the water crisis that the world is facing is not acceptable in this 21st century. Why? Because according to Slavian Rochan, we live in amazing times where we have a lot of advancement in technology or technological innovation. So we need to come out with technologies to help in dealing with the water crisis. The next slide. The next slide. Yeah, so what we need now, as I earlier said, in combating the water crisis that we face globally is technology innovation. But it is not just any technology that we need. We need the right technology. The next slide. The next slide, please. The next slide.
Adam, there's a time lag. It takes about 20 seconds.
The one controlling the slides is not helping. It moves in a slower pace.
It takes 20 seconds for you to see the change.
Right, so we need the right technology. And what embodies the right technology is in the next slide, please. Yes, so I have coined the acronym PEXO as the constituents for the right technology. A good technology must be able to be related to the problems for its development. And that technology must also be context specific, related to the location and the people who are to use the technology. The technology must be simple in its construction and in its use and maintenance. What this implies is that a good technology that we need in combating the water crisis must not require huge financial budgets in its construction. It must be effective, sustainable, standing the test of time, and its ideation must be original and also useful. So what we are, because of the time, I may not be able to go through all the slides. But what we're expecting from you young engineers is to come out with very original, useful ideation so that we can have the right technologies in combating the water crisis that we face. When you look at this conceptual framework that I developed, we need practical and logical solutions to the problems that we're facing currently. And this is born out of the emerging technologies like IoT, cloud computing, AI, mobile and web applications. But without innovative ideas, we cannot get anywhere. That is why via this contest, we are calling for innovative ideation using these emerging technologies to help save the world. Thank you so much.
That's nice information. Right now, may I request Dr. Seema Samrani?
Yeah.
And Professor Somya, Divigor University, Mumbai, to talk on the topic role of emerging technologies in biotechnology for environmental management. Welcome, madam.
Yeah, thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So a very pleasant good evening to all of you, dear students. So you are really lucky that you are going to be a part of this InnoCulture Ideation Contest 2021, and which has got a very interesting theme, which is the need of the hour. So since I am a biotechnologist, I would like to tell you, okay, what kind of solutions can we as biotechnologists offer for management of environment, right? So sneak peek in the same. So we all know why we have come to this particular level of managing environment. It is all because of the degradation and the degeneration, and we all know about it. It is no more a myth. And we also acknowledge today that it is all because of the anthropogenic activities. So the biotechnologists can reflect on these environmental problems, and they can try to find out innovative solutions, or they can get into innovative ideas so that we can have a sustainable environment. So if at all we look into the themes every 5 years, every year, every 5 years, and for every decade, the United Nations gives a particular theme for on a particular topic which is related to environment. And if you just see the themes declared right from 2014 to 2030, they talk about the decades. They talk about the sustainable energy for all, water for sustainable development, ecosystem restoration, ocean science for sustainability development. So we just see here that everything revolves around the environment, and that's how the importance of the topic. Now, if at all we want to see as to how biotechnology, so what is biotechnology? We are using microorganisms or living organisms. We are also using the technology, and together we try to find out solutions. So here, environmental biotechnology as such, if at all we try to see what exactly it is a combination of sciences and engineering, so that we can use the enormous potential of the microorganisms and the plants, the efficacy of the same, and then how we can perpetuate and restore the environment. So this is what is seen here. So we can do it, yes, by using microbiology. Then we can do it by genetic engineering, where DNA can be modified and it can be made to work for us in some other organism of interest. Apart from that, we all know that, see, today in a ocean bed, we see more of plastics than the fishes. Then again, we also are looking for sustainable ways of using fuel. So all these have solutions in biotechnology. So if I'm not going to read the whole list, but yes, there are several solutions when we look into management of environment. We can have bioplastics, we can have biofuels, biohydrogen, biodiesel, we can have biofertilizers, biopesticides, phytoremediation. See, I'm just giving you ideas, innovative ideas, how you can use all of these and modify whatever is existing or maybe how to use it in a better and better way. And the recent thing that comes is about the biosensors. Then further to biosensors, we have nano biosensors. So all of these solutions exist when we talk about biotechnology for environmental management. So where exactly does the intervention of environmental biotechnology exist? So if you just see here, when we talk about environmental biotechnology, that helps in prevention of pollution, in production of cleaner air, water. Apart from it, for waste management, we can use it. We can use it for pollution control, and of course for manufacturing processes, where we can devise better and better methods of manufacturing, where the amount of water that is utilized can be reduced to a great extent, and the water that has been discarded can also be treated and it can be reused. So if we look into the applications of environmental biotechnology in environmental management, we have three things. First is biofuel technology, second is bioremediation, and third is biosensors. So how we can use it for environmental management. So if at all you just have a look at this particular picture here, you are just seeing here, uh, one second. Yeah, you are just seeing here how we are getting fuel from a particular plant, right? So it is seen that today biodiesel is the fuel of choice and biogas is the choice of gas. So all that again is because of biotechnology. And here again, if at all we look into the production of hydrogen, so lots and lots of hydrogen can be generated by using the microorganisms which work under anaerobic conditions, that is in absence of oxygen. And here the waste product is only water and nothing else. So here again there is one example where in North America most of the gasoline varieties have been replaced by ethanol today. Further, if we just continue, I think I'm unable to, yeah. So if we just look into the several generations of biofuel production, see first generation of biofuel production with the utilization of crops like uh, maize, sugarcane, the amount of fuel that was produced by was around only 4%. Second generation has around production of around 96%. Third generation again has a greater efficiency. In the third generation, we directly use the microorganisms. And in the fourth generation, what we see is we can use genetic engineering methods where we can manipulate the DNA of the organism in such a way that it brings about the changes in the substrate the way we desire. So this is the fourth generation biofuels. Second, coming to the biosensors. So there are several uses of biosensors today, and nanobiosensor technology is another new technology that is emerging now. So the biosensor, if at all we just have a look at it, see the newest biosensor, if at all you want to understand, it is using the detection using biosensors and detecting COVID-19 proteins. So this is a biosensor. So similarly, biosensors can be used for monitoring the environment. So see, even the fluorescence-based biosensors have been used for monitoring environmental pollutants. Electrochemical biosensors have been used for detecting pesticides. So there are several such references where we can have a look at all of this. Yeah. So this was about biosensors. Now let us talk about bioremediation. So what is this bioremediation? See, it is using the bacteria or fungi, we can clean up the hazardous environmental wastes. And whatever are these dangerous wastes, they can be converted into less hazardous substances, which are easy to be disposed of in an eco-friendly way. So another important thing I would like to tell you here is about Dr. Ananda Chakravarti, who was the first person who genetically modified a bacterium named Pseudomonas putida. He introduced three plasmids into it, and that particular bacterium started eating oil. And he patented the first genetically modified bacterium also. So that is all a part of bioremediation. So, if at all we have a look at this when we talk about water management, here you can.
Dr. Seema,
Yeah.
sorry for interruption. We can see only your first slide, biofuel technology.
Right.
It's not changing, but we are hearing everything. The slide
I
is
am
not changing.
changing slides. 1 second. I just checked. I am changing slides actually.
Okay,
Not moving. It's
I'm
not
still
moving.
seeing.
Maybe you can stop sharing and then share
Yeah,
again.
I do that.
Because the animation was good in your biofuel. I'm still seeing the same.
Oh, okay. 1 second. 1 second.
Maybe you stop share and then you reshare.
Is my screen visible now?
Yeah, now we can see your
Okay.
total screen.
Yeah. Yes. So this was for actually biosensors. The first one I spoke was about biofuel technology, and the second one was biosensors. Yeah, bioremediation, I was talking about it. So this is what one of the things what biotechnology can do. So this is, if you just have a look at one of the lakes in Belgium, before treatment and after treatment, how beautiful the lake is looking here. So this is clarified using the microorganisms. So this is a cleaning technology using microorganisms. Now the second picture here at the corner, whatever you see these kinds of lakes and ponds are of a common sight for us. So this is all because of the algal blooms, and this also can be treated using bioremediation. So there are technologies for the same. So if at all we have a look at the various technologies, I am not explaining the whole thing, but anyways, the slides are there. So in these technologies, we have in situ and ex situ methods, and there are various methods like bioventing, bioaugmentation, phytoremediation, and ex situ we have composting, farming, biopiling. So all these are technologies which can be used for management of environment. So if at all we try to get into the latest research and reviews, if we type this word like sustainable environmental and water management, when I tried to do this, I got around 85 lakh hits. And in 2021, the number of papers related to this particular topic, whatever was published, is around 80,000. So you can imagine how much of biotechnology is being used for sustainable development and for monitoring the environment. So here, just to take one particular example, see today we can have so many, not only bacterial, but thousands of fungal strains have been isolated, which can be used for degrading the industrial compounds in the environment. Even intensive microalgae cultivation can be used for nitrogen sequestering in oceans. So these are excellent methods for managing our environment and ecosystem. So if I have to conclude, I would like to say that yes, we can utilize microbes and plants, restore the environment, promote sustainable development, and again, integrated processes with the industrial processes. So they will definitely give us a better efficiency, and that will help us to keep our environment green. So if sustainability is the backbone, then environment, society, and economy, they form the three components. And when these three work together, we will definitely have a sustainable future. So I would like to tell the students that happy innovating, try to find innovative solutions. Biotechnology is also one of the means by which you can find innovation for management of your environment. Thank you so much.
Nice hearing, madam. No, you gave very good inputs.
Thank you.
You have introduced new trends that are taking place in the biotechnology field. You talked about bioremediation, very interesting one. And we in the civil engineering, we talk about self-healing concrete.
Yes.
Self-healing concrete.
Yes.
Self-healing concrete, otherwise autogenous concrete. What
Right.
we do is we just inject some kind of bacillus into the concrete in order to heal the cracks. So
Yes.
similar to that, it is a very interesting one, remediation. And even these biofuels, the biosensor. Very exhaustive, madam. Thank you. That really gave a lot of insight to the students and
Thank you for
listeners.
the opportunity. Thank you.
The next speaker is Professor Dr. Valentina Della Corti. The next speaker, Dr. Valentina Della Corti, is working as he is working as a professor in the University of Naples, Febrio, to Italy. Right now, her topic is application of artificial intelligence and blockchain in the healthcare management. So on behalf of this Ideation Contest Forum, I warmly welcome the speaker.
Good evening. Sorry for the intermission. I would to help Professoressa della Corte to share a slide. And if you can permit to share my screen, I can follow her from here. Thanks.
I think.
Good evening to all of you. I'm sorry that I cannot
good evening,
connect with my
Valentina.
camera.
Let us share the screen to Enrico. Now Enrico is
Yes, Enrico is going to share my screen, and unfortunately, I cannot use my video because I have a poor connection here. Okay.
No issue.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my speech regards the application of artificial intelligence and blockchain in the healthcare sector, with specific reference to the management in healthcare. So how the digital devices can really help improving innovation in healthcare. First of all, I would like to focus the attention of the audience to a definition of both blockchain and artificial intelligence. They are very different tools, as all of us know, because in the first case, blockchain is a chain of blocks according to which the process is divided into different pieces, different parts, in order to have a more precise and secure overall process. On the other side, artificial intelligence is a tool that allows us to interact in terms of computer science through intelligent entities. So in the case of artificial intelligence, the great advantage and value is connected with the possibility of interaction between parts. As we go, if we go on, Enrico. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Valentina.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We can.
Yes, it is audible.
Enrico, can you go on with the presentation?
Yeah, I'm going on.
Because
do you see the
what
other
is
slide?
interesting
Blockchain.
in this work, we try to. Are there any problems, Enrico?
I'm on the second slide. I'm on the second slide, blockchain and many characteristics. I think that is visible now. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Enrico, I think Professor Valentina has problems in internet.
Yeah, probably yes.
We can hear you clearly, we can see your screen, but she is unable to see.
Yeah, I think you agree, yes. I want to interrupt the condivision of the screen and I want to repeat the process.
No issues. I think she'll come back. Maybe,
okay.
Hold on.
Yeah. I try just another way.
I think, okay. Started sharing screen.
Okay, we try. Valentina?
Yeah, you have opened the first slide.
Yeah, it's not available now. Okay. She's not available yet. Yeah, she doesn't listen. And I think that we have to go on. Sorry for
No issues. You be on this slide. You be on this slide. I'll make a call to her.
I'm on the slide. Do you see it?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Okay. I think that she had some problem about the connection at this point. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. I would to contact her, but I think that you can to continue with presentation. Don't worry and thanks.
Or can we do one thing? We'll have our presentation later.
Yeah, I have my presentation later, but if you want, I can wait or continue. It's your decision for now. For me, it's the same.
Right. Sir, yes, sir, he can take it. He can continue, sir, right now.
Okay,
Enrico, no, you can continue with that, no?
Yes. I have another presentation, another panel about emerging technology of entrepreneurial scale-ups. This is different, but if you want, I can continue what you want.
Yeah, you have a topic to speak. You can continue.
Yeah.
You can continue that, or otherwise, no. If you have slides for Valentina, you can even present it.
No, it's better, Professor. Let Enrico do his presentation.
Okay,
Meanwhile, I'll talk to her over phone.
Nice,
and I'll align with her.
Yes, sir. Nice.
Okay.
Please,
I start
Enrico,
with my
you
presentation, I think. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Do you see my screen now?
Yes, your screen is not visible.
Okay, I try to slide my presentation. Okay. Do you read the first slide? Emerging technology application for entrepreneurial scale-ups in human health. Do you see all?
Not visible.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. And thanks for all for the patient. And thanks also for yesterday. It was a very, very interesting day, full of ideas and comparison. And thanks deeply, Professor and Dr. Christian Johnson and Krishnan Yumachandran for their support, their patience, and for all. Thanks a lot. This is very, very useful for our scholars to have a confrontation and for these days full of math. Thanks a lot. Okay, I will be quick, and I don't want to take time for the other speakers. My presentation is about emerging technology application for entrepreneurial scale-ups in human health. And we all know the meaning of startups for a company. Perhaps the concept of the scale-up is a little less known. And I want to start from this. There are many definitions of scale-ups. Scale-ups is an innovative company that already reached, developed his business, his product, or his services, and he try to get an international group. And the challenge for scale-ups is to grow and to be in market development in strategic collaborations with the larger companies or established corporates. This is the first challenge for a scale-up. The scaler is a mature company that has already a position on the market, and the challenge is to sustain market leadership, grow, and remain on the market as a leader. This is the focus for the scaler. Telemedicine, in this sense, can become a competitive advantage for companies in the health sector. Because yesterday we have talked about the irrigation and the problems about the access from the developing countries to some technologies. And I think that telemedicine could be a very important innovative advantage, because the shortening of distance even occurs with the telemedicine innovation and the digitalization. There are a lot of definitions about the telemedicine, but I think that it's very, very full of context. And we can say that the telemedicine regards the use of electronic information to provide a support healthcare when distance separate the participant. One first to say is that the shortening of distance is very important because this is the first competitive advantage for the shareholders, the stakeholders involved in the sector, and in particular respect to the patients and the doctors. In fact, telemedicine can be a form of communication with digital and innovative.
Enrico.
Okay, yes. See, Professor Valentina, do you listen me?
Okay, Enrico, I was here, so.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
If
yes,
you want,
I'm
you
here.
can continue. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I'm listening. Okay.
Yeah, I share my screen with your presentation.
Okay, but you are not showing the slides, right?
Yeah, I think that now there's the slide, the current slide of before. Okay. I think that.
Okay. Giorgio.
Is it possible to continue? Yeah.
Okay. So the very interesting thing is that, unfortunately, Enrico, I lost you again. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you see the slide? Hai qualche problema in particolare, Valentina, che mi vuoi dire? We try to listen you. Valentina, are you available now?
I'm afraid she got disconnected again.
Yeah, sorry. Probably another problem of a connection for the Wi-Fi.
No,
Valentina?
Enrico, you can continue. I'm listening anyway, but it's better that you talk with my presentation. Thank you.
Okay. I can continue with your presentation now. If for Professor Johnson and Chandran is correct to continue in this way, I can continue with the presentation of Valentina.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Blockchain is divided from three a principal part: public chain, consortium chain, and the private chain. It's very important to highlight the importance of network because the network in blockchain is partially centralized and usually is composed by a limited number of select groups have access to view and participate in this consensual protocol on in focus strategies decided before the consortium, the born of the consortium. The private chain, in this type of chain, the network is centralized, and also in this case there are not so many participants, and there is a central authority that decide the strategies and the support for all the chains in general. We continue with the importance of a blockchain in healthcare ecosystem, and there are four fundamental elements. We can start from educational institutions, funding body, patient, citizen, research and engineering institutions, and the educational institution is the fundamental context where the chain is moving, and is important also for the research and engineering institutions that are related to the educational institutions. Other important elements is the decentralization, the distribution, the data integrity about the blockchain. These are three elements that describe, in my opinion, in a very good way, the sense of the blockchain for the healthcare ecosystem. In this slide, we can see also the developed curriculum and the provided theoretical knowledge and practical training, ACE studies. There are also elements important in a healthcare ecosystem, and probably we can start from the sharing data with the students, educators, shareholders, stakeholders, and everyone involved in the process, because the focus of the healthcare ecosystem is to have a common system, also for collaborate very also separate actors of the blockchains, and the sharing data is referred to sharing knowledge, and it is very, very important. In the last few years, the healthcare ecosystem are increasing also their size, and we think that in 3 or 4 days, the healthcare ecosystem will be will be larger than the past, than the recent past. Clinical trials, patient records, drug tracking, and medical device tracking are the technologies and the processes for the blockchain in the health field. The clinical trials are very important, in particular for increased transparency, auditability, accountability. Also, the patient records in the last few years are involved in their action, because it's very important nowadays to handle the date and the patient who can accept, reject, or modify relationship with the patients. And also drug tracking is a new phenomenon, a recent phenomenon, because this is very important to have a certain system and knowledge, in particular, for the increase of this type of consumer. Medical device tracking is important. We have talked about it a few minutes ago, and it's important to refer it to the technology enabled to device localization, because in the last few years the medical devices, are very, very increased their technological size. The artificial intelligence can provide with computer system, and not only also for speak recognition, translation between languages for patients and also for the doctor. And this is especially appreciated in medicine and healthcare, because the development of technology can bring a very important chance also for shortening the distance between the stakeholders involved in this field, in particular patient and doctors. In the mid-20th century, the researchers have proposed many clinical decisions of persistence, but from the 1970s, there were a big process that is increasing also now, in particular for the diagnosed disease, for another type of health sector. It's like telemonitoring, treatments referred to the customization of the patients, of the problem related to the patient, and the assistant general for all the needs of the patients. And this process started from the 70s, and it's increasing very fast way. For the last point, the blockchain technology platform is also useful to preserve the dates about the dates of the patients, and not only. And the system is able to construct algorithms and statistic also for the screening of the origin of the patient. By purple means of collecting data and tips of users, we have said this a few minutes ago. It's important to highlight the management of healthcare enterprises, the application of intelligence artificial. It could be very useful also for the processing images for doctor, for patient, we have talked about it. Also for the processing numeric data, and this is my last speech. Okay, we have said this about blockchain. Okay, conclusion. But blockchain and artificial intelligence can be a new era, and is continuing to increase their impact on technologies and innovativeness, and contributing to the efficiency of the operation. We have to say that it contributes to shorten the distances between all the shareholder and in particular stakeholders of the process, because also in this field, in the health field, we have also the shareholders that can use this type of technology to shorten the distance between the sector and the economic actors in general. New skill and competence are required. There are not so cheap processes, but it's very important respect to traditional healthcare field, because the professionalization will be increased in a few years for this reason, because it requires a great and big competencies in general. Integrated ecosystem is another important element to highlight the importance of blockchain, and the implementation of tools requires an attentive cost benefits analysis. I've said that it's not a cheap process, because digitalization and innovativeness are the principal focuses about this type of technology, but it's important to decide how type of strategy can be adopted for the introduction and the use of artificial intelligence, which strategies we could use for permit from stakeholder, shareholder, and the other actors. They use the same use of this technology. Literature works with empirical testing as to review, and the topic are not so much, and the scholars in the last time are treating this field, but nowadays there are few works about it, and we hope for the future that a great number of experts could be part of this field of study, because in our opinion, it's very important to increase our knowledge about artificial intelligence and blockchain related to health sector. Thanks to all for now.
You finished, sir? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Manage somehow. Without sometimes without slides also, it's okay, sir. It's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thing is that now we have to have more sessions on this blockchain and artificial intelligence. You know, if you have some more pictures, more slides, it will be very nice to reach people. Now it's a very new topic, the artificial intelligence blockchain, very new topic, but more interesting. Okay, sir, thank you. Now I warmly welcome our Ashok Raj sir. He's a CEO of this company. It's intelligence company based at Singapore. Right now he will talk about impact of artificial intelligence, on climatic change. In fact, this topic is artificial intelligence and its impact on climatic change. So on behalf of the forum and the Hero to Sindhu College, we warmly welcome Ashok Raj sir to take over the session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir. Audible.
Thank you. Thank you. And students, thank you so much for this. And you know, we know that we are in between your dinner and you know, after your college classes, we are standing at. But believers, like, we are not going to take much time. We will cut short as soon as possible. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Great. Okay, so we are talking about AI and the climate change, you know, whatever the impact it's going to do. This, as you all know, is part of the InnoCulture, where we are going to do on the emerging technologies on water resources and environment. The name itself is very innovative, you know. So how do we get innovation into your culture? So that's the whole theme behind it. Unlike Dr. Seema, I'm not going to share more on the technology side, or rather your subject matter, but we'll be focusing more on the technology and how to enable you to make sure that you bring up with ideas to participate and be on part of this event that InnoCulture is starting with. So two critical topics: environment, health, water, you know. So they are associated to each other and very, very important in today's scenario. You know, as someone pointed out earlier, a small virus, you know, an invisible virus had made so much of an impact in our whole life. The whole life, we call it the new normal, right? So if that is the case, imagine this one on environment and water. We have taken it for granted for quite some time. And what we are looking at is this particular topic. We are going to look into the impact of climate change. You have the 5 elements, which we call it as Panchaputas, right? The earth, the water, the air, space, and fire. So space and fire, I didn't take it out, but because the direct impact of climate is on these 3, which has a repercussion on the other 2 also. So when we talk about these 3, what really happens here is, you know, when we talk about Earth, recently you would have seen news even yesterday and today on Turkey. There is a big lot of fire across all the forests, which has been destroyed, devastated totally. So all this is a consequence of the climate change, and we abusing, or rather taking it for granted, that the resources available for us, you know, is unlimited, which isn't the truth, and that is the reality check that is happening today. So what are we going to do for that? You know, that's the whole idea behind this initiative, which is done by InnoCulture. People like Purushotman and every other people who are seeing Dr. Krishnan and others, their whole objective is to make sure that you come up with the ideas where your engineering skills is being utilized in your own respective domains. So it's not specific to any specific domain. You know, you can, even if you are a mechanical, you might be seeing, like today, from a normal car, you are moving on to an EV car, which is electric vehicles. That is going to be from 1,000+ parts to 18 parts. Believe me, just 18 parts. So if it's going to be that reduction, so from people in mechanical, you have something to innovate, you have something to redo. So is your curriculum going to support you? They support the framework, the base framework. What more that you're going to do is above and beyond how you're going to think of. Civil, for example, everywhere where you might see a green building, this is certified for green building. So that is all something, if you go abroad outside of India, you might see a lot of green buildings, which is coming up actively in India also. Many places, what they are constructing is called green building. What does it really mean, green building? And where does all this innovation happens? Only when, the fundamental structure of civil engineering is there in you. So that's how it is going to be. Likewise, every other area is very important, and your skill set on how you're going to contribute to this matters a lot. So specific to AI, because that's the topic I'm going to talk about, and specific to AI, what can AI contribute? What can we do about it? Or can AI contribute to the net zero economy? And what is the impact on the planet, and how quickly can we achieve this? So these are the questions that come up, because this topic by itself says emerging technologies impact on environment and water. So how these technologies can contribute for the betterment of life and whatever that we are going to achieve in the coming days, right? So to just go into it, as we see the details, AI's potential, what happens today is economic growth is directly proportional to the environmental degradation. See, talk about Tirupur, for example. Tirupur is the hub for garments. Anywhere, like you see all the garments being produced there, which is sent across to various countries. But then what happens is every place across that, ecology is severely damaged because they pass through the effluents, they pass through the pollutants. I want to pick up the slide with Dr. Seema was sharing today. Manufacturing concept of manufacturing, which has an impact on pollution, waste management, and how you balance it all to bring in a better ecosystem, right? That's the focus area today. So can we live without garments? The answer is no. So can we live without auto industry? The answer is no. So then how do we make sure that all this still works? At the same time, the environmental degradation or the carbon emissions that happens is also on the downstream. So this is the agenda or the topic or the KPI, we call it in the industry terminologies, like the KPIs for running an industry. Likewise, every government today has taken it very seriously. Yeah, that's the outcome of the Paris climate where we are talking about how you get over this and how do you make sure that you balance it. In fact, you reduce the environmental degradation. At the same time, you still keep up or go above and behind the economic growth, right? So the basic or the key factor here is how do you decouple? Because today, if I want to grow economically, I want to cut trees, I want to do that, so no, nothing like that. But still, how will you be able to do that? So what is the AI's potential in it? We will see in the next slide. AI has a stack. It has a lot of learning algorithms. If someone is familiar with AI, or probably in a college or a university term, AI is directly related to Python coding or Python learning, whatever that you're doing today. That's how it has been related to. So when you talk about that, so this, they call a lot of algorithms, So you need to have data. You need to have, based on the data, you develop a lot of algorithms. And that algorithms are only going to give you insights to say that oh, if I go like this, it's going to happen like this. Can I change this to make it happen in a better manner? So that's the insight that's going to provide. But the data has to be continuous, right? It cannot be like a past data which I take and then say, oh, this is the past data. How do I make it happen? So when I say the data has to be continuous, what we do is we implant data sensors, like as Dr. Seema pointed out, the biosensors. That's a classic one. But likewise, there are a lot of sensors in the emerging technology trend. We call them as IoT, Internet of Things. That IoT sensors keep emitting the data consistently. So you get data in a real time, and you have a stack which is having a lot of algorithms which can help continuously track, form a pattern, and from the pattern, you will be able to derive a lot of conclusions and a lot of betterment for the whole society. A few examples I have quoted here is one is on the CO2 emission, right? So this is the first and foremost, I'm taking a lot of reference from Dr. Seema because she did a really great job when making my presentation really simple. So that's sustainability goals. There are 17 goals which are identified by UN. Maybe a little more, I'm wrong there on the numbers, but to me, accordingly, it's 17. Out of that, the first and foremost is to reduce the carbon emission per unit capacity. So when we talk about that, how does AI contribute there? AI will be able to predict the demand and the supply so that you are going to be more conscious on what you actually want to produce and how much of the fossil fuel emissions you will be able to control through the regular predictive maintenance. So that's the first part. The second part is of the AI in transportation. So transportation is again, the complete transportation everywhere. How do we optimize it? And how do we optimize freight transports? How do we have a better modeling of mobility, where when we bring in a lot of other elements into transports? Same way on the waste management, how the pollutants are affecting human, or the one important thing that we are saying is the cattle feed is one of the main disruptors in terms of the carbon emission. So how do we bring down that? How do we bring up a biodiversity, betterment rather than the loss? So these are all points towards an eco-friendly thing that we are going to look at. At the same time, one important thing that we have as a company also, we have started investing in a lot of countries is on agriculture, AI in agriculture. So it's a combination, again, as I mentioned at the top left corner, it's a combination of IoT plus AI, where we are putting it into different crop yields. We are tracking it. Those sensors are tracking the moisture content of the soil and how good the crop can come up. What are the crops that I can do? And it also connects to all the weather channels to forecast, to predict whatever that they are predicted using all the satellites. Accordingly, they come and volunteer in advance. Now, in fact, we are also working with the Maharashtra government to give these insights to the block development officers, who are basically trying to coordinate and work with all the farmers. See, that's the level and how AI has influenced everything. They have gone deep into every area to make sure that we get maximum benefit out of it, right? So these are all the used case examples which you can take up when you are taking up this context. When you want to participate in this context, all it needs is one good idea. So, oh, this is already there. What am I going to do? No, you can still do a lot of things, because, today's one, what is being there in monitoring crop yields is very, very costly devices that's being utilized. Maybe you come up with a very cost-effective device that can still do the same job or probably a better job. This is how you keep thinking about it. So, when we say the pillar of actions that we need to do, or you guys need to do, is begin from home. That's the base. Start from your place, start from your college, start from your home. What are the ideas that can discuss? It's not out of the box anymore. There is no box at all. Everything is something where you can learn, because gone were the proverbs when we say think out of the box. There is nothing in the box. You just go everywhere, search, find out what are the things that you can think about, how you can make use of things, and what are all the features. The best thing is the interdependencies with technology and the environment. The emerging technologies and the environment, how are they interdependent? How is AI interdependent with this? So it is primarily because on how you are going to fetch all the data. So how the data has been fetched, how we are going to do, and what kind of a practice you are going to make. So this, again, there is a set of standards. The enable environments for the green transition, there is a set of standards. Once you come up with this, that's where we people can guide and help you. Once you are identified with a potential prospect or project which will have a real potential, we will be able to guide you to say that, okay, these are all the guidelines, these are all the thumb rules on how you have to proceed. Because once you find out with an idea, the best thing is to go file an IP. You file an IP with you so that you get the credit of whatever that's going to happen, and you slowly nurture. It's an iterative process that happens from one to another, right? And then very important thing here is develop a climate-aware data science practice. Why do we say that? Today, the whole world is so dependent on AI. You would have seen latest Pegasus controversies going on, right? Everything is not just cybersecurity alone. Again, added AI is also a part of it. So there are tons and tons of servers which are running exclusive to nurture and run these AI algorithms. So what happens is they are even a potential threat to the the whole carbon emission of the ecosystem. So even in the good, there is also a bad, right? So that's why we say, in a proverb, what we say, amrudam nanjav, right? So make use of that in a minimum level. So these are all the guidelines which we will help for you to focus on a better transmission on how we are going to do. I got this screen gap just 1 hour ago. So we are 6 hours, 150 days, and 17 minutes. Exactly 1 hour, probably 2 hours ago, I captured it in something called as climate clock. Unfortunately, the Earth is also having a deadline, because as you see, the lifeline that is there of world renewable energy is only 12.42 left. So that's what we are, and this is where we stand. So unless we make a change, and the change, as I told you, has to come from everyone. It is not like, oh, someone is going to make a change, somebody who is ruling us is going to make a change and we just follow it. No, everyone who is studying engineering, they all can do something. That's how basically you can contribute. It's not like, and it's not just a contribution to the society. When you are doing successful, you naturally earn money also. So of course, my earning is equally important, but what we say is make it more passionable, make it more interesting, and also make sure that you're contributing to everyone here. I mean, like, I'm done with it. Any questions? I'll be happy to take it. If not, wish you all the very best.
Good presentation, Ashok.
Thank you.
Nice presentation, sir. Sir, right now, almost all the foreign speakers have finished.
Okay.
So you and the Purushottam sir and Kalidajan sir is available. There, can you right now take up?
Let us plan another day. We'll have a very, very involved contribution.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So that during that time we can have more
yes
participants too.
Yes, I've also requested Professor Valentina to join us.
Yes,
We'll fix a day and we'll do it. No issues.
Okay, sir. Okay. Any questions from the participants?
We are open to answer their questions.
Okay.
Actually, this topic we have fixed as ideation contest. The emerging technologies in water resources and environment. When it is just circulated among the faculty members as well as the student mass, they think it's something related to civil engineering or something related to environmental engineering. But we have, they just focus only on that. But no, when we now nowadays, no, all the technologies are emerging, all becoming multidisciplinary.
Okay. Can I answer this question?
Yes, please.
It will look like civil engineering because civil engineering is one of the mother engineering. It's one of the core engineering. See, civil engineering is the one which has to give the proper shelter and the required, kind of infrastructure. That's where people all think that is related to the ground of, environment and weather and, whatever natural resources we have. See, this is the basic. In this basis only, people live. So when people live, they require some kind of a comfort. All the comfort is not going to be only physical form. It should also be in a technology form that can help them. That is where we got the emerging technologies. Emerging technologies are not the normal physical engineering technologies. It's something more. It takes the physical system. It also takes the information into it and then makes it into an automated system so that people can do and live in a smart way. That is where emerging technologies are being linked to the natural resources. So that is where people always think it is civil. It's not civil. Civil is basic. It is required. You do whatever kind of engineering you want to do, but without civil, you cannot survive. So civil engineering is required, but this is an application towards it.
Nice.
I saw Nitin raised his hand sometime back.
Okay.
Nitin, do you have any question? Nitin?
No, just thanks for this point of view. Very interesting. Tangible, intangible aspects is very important to highlight, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. See, the tangible and intangible are there in all technology implementations. The intangible ones are the one which cannot be separated from our needs and wants. Tangible ones can be separated and at requirement can be added to us. Like, for example, if you want to take weather, there is a natural weather limits that is set for plants and animals, human beings. Intangible is that is the required one. Tangible one is like having an air conditioner for a human condition, human living. Without an air con, you can live. But without air, you cannot live. So air is an intangible one and air con is a tangible one. So similarly, you have to find out what technology that is required for human being and then push it. See, that's where we want to see whether it gives you for living in a comfort, a livingness, or for comfort or for luxury. So that's where we will demarcate these ideas and then we will progress it for evaluation.
Yeah, this is a very modern point of view that conjugates both the aspects. And I think that it's the right view for the future, in my opinion.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Actually, thank you all of you for giving this kind of orientation to the students.
Thank you.
But to give a different perspective to the entire discussion today, I'd like to bring in another dimension, which is a social dimension to the technology adoption. The technology adoption is going to be dependent on which country we are living in. If you see the entire technology is emerging from Western world, if you happen to see the labor distribution, the labor force which works in agriculture versus the service industry is hugely different. Suppose if I take the statistics for US, the 1% of the labor force is only working on agriculture, whereas about 79% works on service industry. The same data, if you compare for India, it is 39% in agriculture and only 32% in service industry. So there is a huge difference in the demographic, distribution of labor force with respect to each of the countries. So when you talk about artificial intelligence to be embedded into agriculture industry, it is the necessity for those countries where there are no labor force available, but they need to go into the agriculture. So they want to embed the technology into the agriculture or any other field for that matter, where there is a shortage of labor. But when it comes to India, if all the technology is adopted immediately, it's going to really create another cyclone or earthquake. What I would say is going to be a big labor problem, unemployment problem. So the adoption rate in India, whether it can be matched with the global adoption rate, this is another area where social dimension where we need to think of. Of course, it's not related to the project ideation project as such, but the students also need to find a solution for that when they are thinking of ideation. How the technology, whatever we are talking about from the Western world, can be easily adaptable to Indian scenario, where the labor force is, unorganized labor force is more in India compared to any other developed countries.
Very thought-provoking matters, sir. It needs to be really considered. Without affecting the laborers, they have to adopt this technology, new emerging technologies.
Yeah, we cannot just like that,
we cannot blindly do that. We cannot
blindly do that. But certainly Indians are, in adoption, they are very fast. About 5 years back, how many mobile phones we were using, what kind of internet facility we were using, and 5 years down the line today, it's hugely different. Similarly, the technology adoption will take place, but it has to, develop the society also in the similar way, in a similar fashion, creating some other employment opportunities for the labor force who are unorganized and illiterate mostly. So that is where India is going to face a very huge problem.
No, somebody, Nitin, has given a question. Let me read it out. He said, respected sirs, I'm looking forward to do MSc Biomedical Science, Immunology in London, which is 1-year course. My question is, does the 1-year course have demerits compared to the second-year masters?
2 years.
Maybe we have to take it later, but okay, Kali, give an answer to it.
No, I think the professors who are there in the field, Dr. Seema can.
Dr. Seema, madam, can.
Okay. Dr. Seema, can you answer him?
Yeah, actually, most of the Indian universities, UGC says that a master's degree has to be for 2 years. So first year and a second year. So I do not know exactly how it works in London. But you should be careful because when you want to do your further studies, they ask for 5 years of work. So if it is 3 + 1, then it may be 4 years. So you should just look into those pros and cons. And see, what is important is not the number of years, but the course content. So that is, and how much it is application oriented and how much of practical experience you are going to get. That is what should matter most. And if it is, I'm not sure, because usually 1-year courses in India are postgraduate diploma courses and that kind of thing. But when we talk about a complete course, it is 2 years course only. So just do some more research, Nitin. I think that will guide you.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
Enrico, would you like to throw some light on this question? Enrico?
No, I agree with your point of view in particular for the importance of the context, political, the institutions in general. And I study management and we teach management. And this is very, very important for us. And I would just to highlight your point of view because it's very, very important, the influence also on the technologies respect to the context. And this is another very interesting point of view that, in my opinion, it takes a very great attention also for the future contribution of university in general. Yeah. Just for this, because I don't talk about biomedical science of this type of field, because it's not my specialization.
Okay. Generally, the UK. Yeah, please, Ashok, please.
Yeah, sorry, doctor.
No.
I mean, because we used to, in the sense, we have a team of people who used to counsel the students, so after your BTech, your MSc in Europe across, plus UK is just 1 year, but your MTech is 2 years. So when you do an MSc for 1 year, which is still good, depends on the specialization that you take up. So post that, it depends on whether you wanted to stay back in, which most of our kids do. They don't come back. They try to stay there and extend it. They do get a lot of opportunities. So the university, what they go, we need to see what is their campus rating. So if they get almost 90 to 100%, for sure they get it in it. And they can also, particularly in this immunology, what Nitin has pointed out, they can do a doctorate also, MD over there. An MD in immunology can also be a possible thing that he can pursue.
So advice to Nitin would be like, don't try to come back after doing this course, come back to India. So stay back and then do your higher studies or look for a job there itself. As much I know, the recruitment policies in Indian companies are like this. In case if you want to take advantage of any postgraduate degree, the postgraduate degree should be of 2 years duration. Otherwise, it's not considered to be a postgraduate degree. It is considered to be a diploma. So you will be underrated, compared to your counterparts who have done MSc in India. So be careful in that. It is better that you continue, or like Mr. Ashok has suggested, go for doctorate or look for a job in the same country.
Yeah. Because UGC in India has very strict rules.
Yeah.
So University Grants Commission. So I think the option is good, whatever Ashok Raj sir has told. That's good. Yeah.
Madam, I would like to just, what is your role as IQAC there, madam?
Yeah, actually, IQAC is internal quality assurance cell. So we have NAC accreditation, as you have accreditation. I think engineering colleges do not have NAC accreditation.
Do you connect anything with this this topic, like IQAC? Do you really link with industrial connect like this emerging technologies? Are you measuring?
Yeah, that is industry academia cell is one of the parts under our internal quality assurance cell. So there we try to have industry academia connect. Okay. So for our students to go for internships, and then later on we also call them for campus interviews. So this is what is under industry academia cell. But internal quality assurance is to increase the, or to go on monitoring the quality of the curriculum, then the processes and everything, so that the stakeholders are answerable.
Yes, madam. I know, we already know, I wanted to know just how it can be connected to this quality there in the academics, this topic.
Right. National Assessment and Accreditation Council has given this particular thing, that every college should have an internal quality assurance and they should work for that criteria. It's for that.
Sorry,
any more questions? If there is any more questions, we'll continue. Else, we'll have a handshake and we say goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, I invite Gopal Krishnan sir to just give a vote of thanks.
Yeah.
Gopal Krishnan, HOD. Sir, are you available? Gopal Krishnan? Since now he's not able to.
Nitin is asking one more question. Could you please differentiate masters and PhD?
The MD and PhD.
MD and PhD. Can anyone help him out? A better option. Yeah. See, we are also tech savvy. Nitin. As you text it, we can read out and we can help you. No issues. We belong to the old age.
PhD, you go more into an individual contributor, like it's more on research and other stuff.
My observation is, if you want to just link into this, stick into some kind of research orientations and teaching, all these PhD is essential. Otherwise, no, just be with additional courses, some diploma courses, often certificate courses. No, that will really help people to grow much and shine.
Yeah, and
there's another question also from Gunashekar. Hold on, Dr. Rasima.
Yeah.
He says, he's happy with the program and he wants it to be continued.
That's nice.
That's a nice, good welcome issue.
We will have so many other sessions also. We will arrange some other sessions also, the days to come.
Yeah, Dr. Seema, please continue.
Yeah, like if we try to look into the student's point of view, Nitin, MD you will complete in 2 years, PhD will require 5 years, right? And after MD again is a master's degree. Once again, it's a master's degree, whereas PhD is a doctorate degree. So this is the difference, and people do not follow it. But for PhD, if at all we have to put a doctor prefix, D and R has to be capital. And if it is for a medical degree, D is capital and R is small. Yeah, so this is the difference again.
That's the only difference I was
and PhD degree. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anything else, sir?
Okay. Gopalakrishnan is available.
Otherwise, is not available. So I will just.
Johnson, yourself.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I take up this time to convey my sincere thanks to the speakers today. Everyone has presented nicely, very in depth. But the only thing is that students are not more. Very valuable sessions, very good inputs. As I was telling yesterday, actually, if it is really penned down and a small leaflets or kind of newsletter is emerging as this is an emerging technology. If maybe our Dr. Kalirajan sir now is heading an institution there in L&T. Definitely, they right now he's organizing so many programs. Maybe if industries supports like that, definitely we can continue to have this kind of ideation contest program every year. And if it is circulated in the form of printouts, leaflets, and sent to so many institutions beside these all e-communications, definitely it will reach people and it will kindle new ideas. Ashok Raj sir very well. I gave a very nice information, and all the others too, like Enrico sir and Lagraj sir, and all other speakers. Every Dixon too. Everybody gave a very nice speakers. Valentina madam, because of this problem, the connections. But though there was some problem, Enrico really take up. No, I think that he's biggest student of Valentina madam. Am I right, sir? Maybe.
I tried.
Yeah, it's nice. Okay. So with this few just communications, I really thank Dr. Kalirajan sir and Dr. Krishnan, especially Dr. Purushothaman sir. Purushothaman sir has taken a lot of efforts in making all these things possible by means of arranging this kind of Zooms and registrations and things like that and so on. And our faculty members and the students also, we are very much indebted. We want really to motivate our speakers here or though they are very busy and leading very good positions in their own industries and in the other industries they are working as CEO. They're very keen to support the young engineers so that they may be properly groomed so as to take up these social challenges in order to make the earth, Mother Earth, some more time to survive, make it more sustainable. Really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank everyone for the opportunity given to Erode Central Engineering College to host this program. And in the days to come, we would like to conduct so many other programs, and especially with speakers like Kishore Prasad, Krishna sir, and Kalajaj sir. And as and when it is needed, we will definitely invite people who have really talked. They have got a lot of exposures, lot of stuffs, but only thing is that time is limited. We will have separate sessions in the days to come. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Enrico.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
We'll stay for some time, Tilaga, Purushot,
Okay.
Christian, and Kali. I put my video on hold because my battery is drained down.
Okay.
Sure.
Others can leave, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.